Okay, the topic is reflection. As I told you, the light comes back into the same medium from the boundary separating the two media is known as reflection of light. Now, what is a reflector? That is a statement of reflection of light. Now, what is a reflector? The surface from which the reflection takes place is called as reflector. For example, I am standing in front of a plane mirror and I am myself is the object. So when light rays from me falls on the plane mirror, what is going to happen? Those light rays are going to reflect in particular direction. Since the plane mirror will reflect the light rays, plane mirror will reflect the light rays. So when those light rays are reflected behind the mirror, I am going to get an image in front of me. So I am the object, my image will appear in the mirror, behind the mirror. So that is the image. And here the plane mirror itself is called as a reflector. The surface from which the reflection takes place is called as reflector. Now what are the two laws of reflection that we must know? What is the first law of reflection? The first law of reflection explains that the incident ray, the normal at the point of incidence, and the reflected ray all lie on the same plane. Here we have to imagine one plane like a paper on which we have to consider the light ray, incident light ray, and the normal to the plane surface and plane and the reflected ray. These all the three lines or the three rays must lie on the same plane. Then and only then we say there is a first law of reflection. For example, I can show on the board here. So for example, I will take this is the incident ray and this is a normal which I have drawn to the plane surface, and it is a reflected ray. The incident ray coming from OA is an incident ray, AM is a normal, AB is a reflected ray. So these all the three lines or three rays must be lying on the same plane. So that is our first law of reflection. So once again, the incident ray, the normal to the point of incidence is the point of incidence, to it is a normal, and the reflected ray AB all lie on a same plane. So that is called as first law of reflection of light. Next, coming to the second law of reflection. So what is second law of reflection? It is very simple and easy. The second law of reflection explains somewhat like angle of incidence is equals to angle of reflection. Angle of incidence equals to angle of reflection. So what is an angle of incidence first of all? So the angle of incidence is nothing but, you can observe the diagram here, it is an incident ray, it is a normal. So angle made by the incident ray with the normal. Angle made by the incident ray with the normal is called as angle of incidence. When the incident ray makes a certain angle with the normal, that angle is called as angle of incidence, and it is a reflected ray, it is moving in definite direction. So here the angle made by the reflected ray with the normal is called as angle of reflection, small r. Okay, angle made by the incident ray with the normal is called angle of incidence. Angle made by the reflected ray with the normal is called as angle of reflection. Okay, now these two must be equal, that is angle of incidence equals to angle of reflection. So that is called as a second law of reflection. Angle of incidence equals to angle of reflection. That is second law of reflection. Okay, next, what is angle of glancing? What is angle of glancing? Just observe carefully here. Angle of glancing I have shown with the symbol alpha here. Okay, what is an angle of glancing means? You can also call as glancing angle. Okay, so what is angle of glancing? The angle made by the incident ray with the plane surface. Following? The angle made by the incident ray with the plane surface. This angle is called as angle of glancing or glancing angle. This is the incident ray. It is making certain angle with the plane surface from which reflection is taking place. This angle we call it as the angle of glancing. Next one is angle of deviation. So what do you mean by angle of deviation? Observe here. I am rubbing this one. This is actually incident ray. If I extend this backwards, extend this incident ray backwards like this. If I extend this light ray backwards, which light ray? Incident light ray. Now it is reflected light ray. If I make the angle from the reflected light ray with the extended incident light ray, the angle made by the extended incident light ray with the reflected light ray is called as angle of deviation. Once again listen, the angle made by the extended incident ray, actually OA is the extended incident ray. If I extend this incident ray back behind the mirror, then I make angle between this is the reflected ray and it is the extended incident ray. If I make some angle between this extended incident ray and the reflected ray, that is called as an angle of deviation. That is called as angle of deviation. So these are the 4 points I want to explain you now. So once I'll recall the points what I explained you now. First of all, I explained you what is reflection of light. Reflection of light is nothing but light comes back into the same medium from the boundary. Light comes back into the same medium from the boundary. Separating the two media is called as a reflection. Or also you can explain it as a bouncing back of light. The bouncing back of light into the same medium after separating the two media from the boundary is called as reflection of light. And what do you mean by reflector? Here the plane mirror I'm talking about, the plane mirror is itself is a reflector, because the surface from which reflection takes place is called as reflector. Next, I explained you what are the two laws of reflection. The first law of reflection explains the incident ray, the reflected ray, and the normal to the point of incidence all lie on a same plane. That is first law of reflection. Next, second law of reflection, I told you that the angle of incidence is equals to angle of reflection.